The expectations are pretty simple, and it's something we talked about in our initial team meeting. It's commit, communicate, and compete. Commit to the program, commit to your training, commit to your teammates, commit to making good lifestyle choices, communicate with your coaches and teammates, and lastly, compete. Compete with your teammates. Certainly we're going to compete with the opponents that we race against, and compete with yourself to become a better athlete. That's the expectation. Now, the goals for the season are very numerous, but very few. The goal right now, as we sit here in August, is just to become better as a better athlete, a better distance runner, and to peak at the end of the year to run your best in November when we go to regionals. That's the very simple goal. Every 2 to 3 week training cycle we go through, I want the guys and girls to show improvement. I want them to get better. And that is the only goal that we have as of today. Now, as the season progresses and I get to know my team a little better, then we will get a little more specific with the goals. Then we will start talking about times that I want individuals to run at meets. Then we'll start talking about what place we should finish or how many points we can score in a big meet. But in August, the goal is simply just to improve throughout the year. And then as the year progresses, then we get a little more specific and we start talking about team goals. The key returners from last year's men's team are Spencer Lyman, Pat Mannion, Colin Roth. I believe they finished 3, 4, and 5 at our regional championship meet last year. So we need them to step up, provide leadership, and to be good for us this year. Another individual, Bryce Williams, was one of our top runners 2 years ago as a freshman. Last year for him was lost mostly due to illness and injury. So I think they're going to be the 4 guys that we're going to really count on to score points. Spencer, Pat, Colin, and Bryce. And then 2 veterans that we have that have not been in the top 7, but I think had a good summer of training, and I hope to at least provide some veteran leadership and to be scorers for us are Ryan Kiger and Alex Fiore. The key returners for the women, 5 of our 7 come back from last year's regional team. Grace Adams was our #1 runner throughout the year. She returns. Abby Grailinger really had a good track season last year, indoor and outdoor track, so we're hoping that translates to cross-country success for her this year, so we expect a good year from her. Amelia Cadwell, Kathleen McCutcheon, and Emma Lane also ran at regionals. So 5 girls from that team are back from last year. We are going to need contributions from our freshman class on the men's side and the women's side. We have 15 guys on our roster now, and 7 are freshmen. So just due to the percentages, due to the math there, we're going to need some freshmen to step up and be contributors. Matt Krogstad looked really good. We did our 2-mile time trial, and I expect 1 or 2 other guys will be top 7 contenders for the men. And on the women's side, our top 2 girls at our time trial were freshmen, so certainly we're going to need both of them and maybe 1 or 2 other of the freshman girls to be contributors as well. We're not very deep on the women's team. We only have 11, and with 4 of them being freshmen and 1 is a new student, a returning sophomore that did not run for us last year, so it's 5 new girls out of the 11. We're going to need freshmen and newcomers to be contributors. Last year's senior class, in particularly JT Paganelli, Mike Whalen, and Brian Michelli, they were pretty much 4-year starters, 4-year key contributors to our cross-country program. In fact, JT and Mike were our #1 runners throughout last year, and they were at our regional championship. So that is productivity that is definitely going to be missed. The way to make it up is certainly I think a healthy Bryce Williams can come in and offset some of that, but it's the other guys, and especially the 3 that I mentioned earlier, Spencer, Pat, and Colin, they're going to need to get a little bit better, and hopefully we get a surprise from our freshman class or one of the returning veterans. But that's a significant loss on the men's side, that 3 guys that were pretty much 4-year starters for us, and they were our #1 and 2 runner last year. In terms of the ladies side, key contributors and how we offset productivity from last year, 2 of the freshmen, Emma Frazier and Kaylee Privatier, were #1 and 2 in our preseason time trial. So I would expect they'll slot somewhere into our top 3, top 5 in terms of productivity. So they will definitely be key runners for us this year. In terms of our schedule, the big race for me is this year, as it is every year. It's regionals, regionals, regionals. The kids laugh because when I say it, I always repeat it. They know. If you'd ask any of the 26 boys and girls from the team, and most of them are new to the team, they'll tell you right now, regionals is the big race. That's when I want everyone to run their best, and it's a long season here in college. The regional race is the second week in November, so we always have an eye on regionals. That is the one race where I want everyone running their best. best. Other notable races throughout the season are the Little 3, which is Friday, September 8th. It's early in the season, so it's not really a big race, but it's notable in the fact that we're running against two really good teams there. So it's an early season gauge of your fitness and where you rank against, some teams that are regionally and nationally ranked. Another notable race is the Paul Short Run at Lehigh University, and that's Friday, September 29th. That's a notable race in the fact that it is annually one of the bigger collegiate cross-country races nationally. You draw teams across the nation, Division 1, 2, and 3. There's a full day of high school running. Really, it's an iconic meet and it's an iconic course, and it's something I think most college cross-country runners, it's a venue where they would like to compete. And it's a good mid-season measuring stick because you're competing against teams, like I said, from across the nation, from several different regions. It's just a neat cross-country atmosphere that day at Lehigh.